Welcome back everyone to Alchemy Factory, and in today's episode I'm not 100% certain where I'm going to go. We was talking about getting these points reset in the last episode. We'll do that at some point in here. So we have got a basic Mars build. It's nothing too spectacular. We could increase it, but it's really hard to increase that, to be quite honest. It's the bearings and it's these ones here that causes all the problems. These at the end here. Oh no, wrong build. It's this build here. Yeah, it's done for the processors, the copper bearings. For us to get copper ingots. Now, I think we did have a skill for Athanors, didn't we? No, alembics and extractors, not al. Okay, so nothing there is really going to help me out. But yeah, for me to do a Mars, which we did set one up in the last episode, it's just using my leftover stuff, sitting in a box. It does actually see, like, my iron nails is actually the one that's causing the problem. Did I break something with the iron nails? No, it is making them. Maybe I need second one. But I haven't really left myself much space here to put a second one in. Not without extending it out. Because I do have all this iron sitting here. Is the iron backing up now these days? We do have a box hidden in there. Yeah, iron's backed up. So yeah, I can afford to push the nails up. So we're starting the episode with that one then. So how would I want to do this? Because it would have to go into the priority splitter. Okay, let's start off with some stone. Let's try and get 2 of these making nails. Maybe on this point and this point would be a good option. But yeah, we did really push up the iron fold a couple episodes ago because we needed the iron sand. But look at the iron sand, that's all backed up. So that's telling me I probably need... Well, we can't really do a second machine because the soap powder is what's causing all the issues by the looks of it. Now, I think I did work out something wrong with this. Because when I was counting the 3 stack, I was counting that up as 9,000. It's not actually, because the one at the bottom is sage. So if I was to add another flax onto here, that would be enough to produce both these full pelt. We've already got the plant ash covered. Now, where would I want to put it? I mean, putting it on there could be really easy. I would need to belt in or pipe in another lot of... We could pipe it in down here and joint on the pipe here. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with that. So we want to get one of these metal stands because these stand very nice on top of these. As long as we don't go higher than that, I think I can still get a roof in because I do want to have a look at doing the roof thing today. And we want to copy one of you. So we just need to figure out where's your input and where's your outputs. Okay, let's go up onto this little shelf. So I would want your output to be this side. Like that. And you should already have the flaxseed in, so... Fertilizer is on this belt here. Didn't want to grab it, I wanted to look at it. Oh, I haven't got my hood on. I was trying to figure out why I can't see what each is. Yeah, this is the advanced fertilizer. So I could easily grab the advanced fertilizer off the line, or even off here. That'll be even better. So let's take it from that line. Simplest way of doing it. And then a couple of these stands. Then I've just got to get high enough where I can connect that belt. But yeah, I need to make sure this is running at full pelt because it's slowing everything down. And then I can bring you down here onto this square and then straight onto the floor here. Could put a table maybe in that space. Bring it up. Because all it's got to do is get piped onto here. So yeah, we have got some stands I don't really use much, which are these ones here. These ones here, which are 2x2s. We do have the taller version. So I could maybe have 2 shelves. I think that's high enough to jump onto that pipe there. Get a couple of stands. Okay, you're coming out. Let's bring you down at this point here. And then we can bring you down at this point here and then have all the stuff here to do the plantation. Sorry, the... what's it called? The flax. You need to see the ratios. So 30 a minute comes in. And each one of these are doing 60. So I would need 2 of these to be connected on to get me over 3,000. That will work both these at full power then. If I'd have thought about it, I could have just brought it down onto a table here. Could have moved that table back one. No, it'll do. Okay, so where have we got to join up to? We've got to join up to that square there. And being though it's only 2, I'll face it away. And then put 2 belts. I just need to get a better angle because it won't let me build like that. So 2 belts into 2 blenders. Not blenders, it's the other one, the got the name of it, extractors. Get you to join on the belt, and then we just got to belt in all the glass stuff, which we know how much fun this is. I have them on number 6, and I just need to connect this up to that pipe there. Well, that was quite painless. And now this should be running at full efficiency now. Because we're making 9,000. We've got the 2 belts coming in. So we'll have a little bit of overflow. I could even put a bottle here if I want. It would be nice if I do on the next level is sort of have a system where I've got a load of glass bottles with all the stuff stored in, and then I can pipe it for wherever I need it. So we can have like dedicated builds. But yeah, that's definitely going to help the soap out, which is then going to help out the copper powder, which is going to help out everything else. And also get my relic a little faster. Just give me a minute to sort out my inventory. Okay, I've just tidied up my inventory. Let's go and have a look for the quest for the day. I've just had a quick check onto the malachite setup. We've already got 56 crude shards. I wasn't expecting us to get anywhere near that sort of ratio with those. But that's good to see. We will be able to use them at some point. So we've got a quest here that needs a lot of salt, a lot of pulleys, rivets and glass. We should be able to do that one fairly comfortable. What's the other bulk one? Pocket watches, healing potions, yeast powder and glass. We should be able to do that one as well. So let me go and get both those quests sorted out. Okay, I've got everything I need for both those quests, so let's turn them in. So 141,000 for the first one. And 150,000 for the second one. Not the biggest payout quests in the world, but can't turn down free money. And put the coppers away. Got 800,000 silver on me. I don't need that much. Keep 100,000 on me. The rest can go into the box. So yeah, our lines are looking superb at the moment. Where do we want to be going next? So we do have a couple of builds we could be going into. So we have the growth potions. It looks like that's going to be clay. Or clay powder. We know how to do that because we've done it on this setup here. We would have to have charcoal. And we would have to have sand to do that build. Black powder. Maybe sulfur powder. Maybe chamomile. And it does look like that might need charcoal as well. That's a good use for wood. An unstable catalyst would need gloom spores we've already got. Chamomile powder's not actually that hard to do, I don't think. And then the other one might be sulfur powder. Where would I want? Well, I mean, the growth potions will get us out to tier 6 into tier 7. Let's go for that, and then we can always come back for the black powder. Do we actually need the black powder for the growth potions? No. We do need a blue one. I think that's Aquavita or something like that, but I can't remember what it's done from. Okay, end of day report for day 95. Just having a look at what we're selling. Only 12 bandages sold in the shop. That means there's going to be a lot of those going for contracts. 29 of the pocket watches sold. And 31 of the malachites. So it's not a majorly big seller in the shop, but we've got more than enough to cover that. Still selling 27 of the turquoise. I'm just looking at the values as well. Pocket watches are very good money, 60,000. Now, we didn't do any of the other contract. What was the other one? Oh, pocket watches, because we're still supplying the shop. Because I'd forgot to set that up. So 786,000 with the quests we did. And 435,000. So yeah, good numbers. Got my inventory into a more manageable position as well. So let's start off with looking at the quests. And then we'll have a look at the growth potions we just unlocked. Because that's for the main quest. So we need bronze rivets, we need salt, and we need gears. That should be fairly easy. Let me go and get that one done first. Okay, there was something over here we was working on and I've just got sidetracked. So yeah, I've got a full box of iron there. So we was building this out. So let's get this finished before going to that next build. And we want 2 of these. Is there any way I can change this? Yes, I can. So yeah, we'll have you there. Let's go into the closest form. And we'll bring you to there. So you're going into a 3-way. Maybe this should come off this point. Yeah, we'll have it like that. So that goes up the lift or it comes this way. Does mean you're going to have to be changed. Put a copy on the floor just so I don't have to mess around. We do need you going into the bottom still. And we didn't actually have the top going anywhere, did we? Oh, we did. We had you coming down this lift here. So we could just easily change you to something like that. That should work the same. But it's just going to double up our nail production. And then we just got to reconnect them belts. Into there. That's perfect. Couple of stands across the top. And then connect the top line in as well. So we've doubled up our nail production. That will keep upstairs full, and then that will help out getting this Mars a bit better because the nails is the one that's really struggling. But 2 times the output now if I need to. Always add an extra machine and go 3 times the output. But that's looking a lot better now with the iron nails. How is the box doing upstairs? Nearly full. And I do have a bit extra on me than I needed, so let's just top up that box. Pocket watches are starting to back up, then we'll start doing contracts soon. Malachite is just about keeping up, but not by much. But yeah, that little improvement there should allow some of this iron box to get cleared out. It does mean I've probably got 1 too many iron machines running here. Just have a look on this side to make sure the improvements we did helped out. Coming out at 20 a minute. Both of these are full with the yellow liquid, so that's fine. And the plant ash is coming in at full power as well. That's doing the best it can with what we're giving it. The belt isn't being blocked up there, so that 2 grinder setup is working fine. And you're full up with iron sand, so the iron sand's perfect on it. And we've just got the iron backing up over here. So I definitely could increase the steel build on here to an extra one if I needed it. Doesn't look much better at the moment, but we can definitely see nails coming through a bit more freely. Okay, so let's have a look at that build we just unlocked. So let's go into the V menu. There it is, growth potions. So we do need chamomile powder. We haven't used that yet, so that's a nice one. We need clay powder, which we've got to set up over here. I can just copy the clay setup. We just need to have wood. But I could increase the wood over here if I desperately need to. But we do have a full box of wood. And half a box there. I could always filter some of this wood going upstairs or something. I do want to build upstairs. Maybe do that first. Where is it made in? It is made in an advanced blender. Let's just put it down on the floor and let's see what the numbers are first. Let's set the recipe. And this is the first thing we're doing for an advanced. So we would need 60 a minute clay powder. So that would mean 4 times, well, double the amount we've got here. So 60 a minute clay powder would mean 4 lines of sand and 2 full belts of charcoal. But that's not hard to do. We could also send something else up and just have the 2 dedicated lines. I do think this is going to be an upstairs thing, probably on the 3rd floor, not the 2nd. They've got some ideas for the 2nd of being our contract floor. So we know where to do the clay powder. Chamomile powder, we don't know, so we'd have to plant chamomiles and see what we can get with that. And brine, we'd never made brine, so let's have a look at what brine is. So it would be under materials. The brine would be chamomile powder again. Is it? No, salt in an extractor equals brine. Now we do know how to do salt and we know what to do. Actually, salt will give sand out, wouldn't it? Because we need sand for the clay. Now, the salt line has backed up, even though I had a quest for like 300 of that recently. Let me find one of the machines that's doing salt. No, you're doing limestone. You. So it'd be 10 salt a minute, 10 sand a minute. So it all depends on how much salt is to make the brine. Now we would need in an extractor. Might be just easier just to try and get some numbers. An extractor here. And see what numbers the salt goes into. So 15 salt a minute gives us 300 brine. We would need basically 3 lines. So we would need 45 a minute. And we know from looking at this machine here, we would basically need 5 of these to be running it full. 5 of those would give us... Probably the 4 would be better, because that would be a full belt. Now, because it only needs 800 and not 900, we could get away with 4. Then we would only have to deal with 40 sand. That's easy to deal with. We've got ways of dealing with that. We're just shoving it into a diamond build, but we've also need the sand for the clay. And I think it was, yeah, we'd have to have definitely sand builds. Because we need 4 full lines. We would have to have a couple of machines extra than my stacks that does a full line. So then it's all down to chamomile then. And there is some fertilizer in a box over here. Let me just, hopefully. Wow. So me taking that build down over there, the fertilizer is now, it's not struggling, it's just backing up. Because we took down this line here, what was making the basic fertilizer. So all this should be coming into advance now. It also means that these things are probably doing 60 a minute now. So we have more than enough capacity on these. 60 a minute coming in, making 600. But this can only do 10. That's fine. I could just take away 2 of these. I don't need them anymore. Okay, I've just changed this setup into a very simple setup. So I'm just throwing the fertilizer off the belt straight into here. I've increased it to 60, so if I do want to have any more vitality potions for quest, it's going to be really fast. But if I also need red currant for anything, because I'm only technically needing 600 a minute here, and we actually are producing 600 a minute, so that's fine. And we've got the 30 powder through here, so yeah, that's all good. We're just not using anywhere near as much, so I'm not taking as much fertilizer off the belt. And also I've got rid of all the basic fertilizer in there. So let me get rid of that bronze quest now. Okay, let's buy some chamomile. So them 6,000 each. I'll just get one for the moment. I just want to see what the advanced fertilizer does with these. What sort of ratios is it going to be running? Yeah, a nursery there. Fill it up with advanced fertilizer. And let's plant the chamomile. Put a little box on the outside. So this is actually doing 12 a minute. We need it into powder. So how much is the powder doing? 20 into 20. So just one grinder. So 12 a minute would mean I need 2 chamomiles to keep up with 10 a minute growth potion. So that part's easy. Okay, just having a look at the numbers for day 96. 19 of the watches sold, 39 of the malachite sold, and we sold another diamond. And now we're getting 103,000, not the 100,000, because we put that one into sales. What did we make? 595,000 and 449,000. Not as much distance as I want between those numbers. But yeah, we've got all this fuel and stuff sitting over here. We've got money on the belt. So I'm thinking this will be a good place to do the chamomile one. I think I'm going to have to grab some of them machines over this side. Like you. Because I'm just going to need my numbers around me. So if we just worry about the chamomile first. We know that's just going to be fertilizer off a belt. Going into 2 nurseries. So let's start with the nurseries. Start with 2 nurseries. And we can just put the stands in between them. So we want the output to be this side, because then I can put the fertilizer in the back there. Yeah, that would work. 2 space. I could just have them both on the floor. I don't need to go up in the air with them. Which is much tidier. So let's do it. So we could just put the nursery stand there. Set you up for chamomile. I am going to need to buy another seed by the looks of it. I'll buy a few. Just so I've always got some. Let's have a check on the quest while we're over this side. So we have an urgent one for steel. Need to get that done. And let me get the random one out the way as well. Okay, let's turn in the random first. So that's 73,000. And then let's turn in the urgent one, which is 108,000. So we need to get the fuel down and thread that in. So let's start with that. Coming out there. We've done this many times before. We could also bring the fuel up straight into the top and not snake it around. Would need to be up onto this tier if I wanted to do that. No, we just do the snake like I normally do. It works pretty well. So take it off the bottom. Bring it up to here. And then just a couple of stands in the middle. Need to get the right angle. Bit difficult to get that one in. And then we need to get the 2 outputs down. So if we go like that, that will then have to go into powder. We want the top one to come down onto the same belt. It's only going to be 24 minutes, so that's fine. One stands. And then we want you to go in the back. Yeah, with advanced fertilizer, 12 a minute, and these are already pretty much full up now. Now, the grinder was doing how much? Let me just remind myself. If we've got 24, the grinder is doing 20. So having 2 grinders is the best setup. And just for now, we'll just do the grinders like that. That gets me the chamomile powder. So the first stage is already done. Thinking the salt part would be better doing before the clay part. And we said we wanted 4 salt machines. So the one I'm going to need is salt with triple stack, this one. Because it's the salt build I'm doing. That is the portals on the back. And that is actually a double triple stack, so that's fine. Because the top one I'll probably end up changing to sand to bring down. Yeah, this thing's a little bit in the way. But yeah, we want to plug you on. To there. Do need to see where the mindles are there. So I need to get you and you to get connected. Did I save this with... Can't actually get to it from this side. Did I save this with the buying? No, I didn't. So I need to do the buying later. But at least it will feed all the money in ready. That's fine. So that is actually going to do 60 salt. And a 140. So where are the top 2 ones? Up here. I could just take off the top levels and then have a separate stack for the others. I think for now I'm going to get the belts out. Just remove the filter splitter and the top one. Because I might want to do the other setup with the grinders underneath if I'm going into sand. But just for now, we'll just strip that side and this side. Okay, tidied up the build a little bit. Now I just need to figure out where everything is. So you're coming from... Which part of the filter? So the top of the filter comes into here, comes down here. So you was going to be the salt line here. And then this was the sand line. And I think I had this part as the sand line as well. You should be coming out the front. Just figure out. So you're coming off the belt here. You're joining the belt there. So yeah, this is just sand. And this is the salt. Now, the salt does have to go into extractors, so we can just put that on the front here, can't we? The easiest way is doing something like that. Take that belt away. Don't need the 2 middle ones either. And if I need to put a belt underneath later, I can always just remove these blocks and put in stands. So we want you to come out and that way. And you're already doing the same. And then I just need 2 blenders on. And I think we will have to rebuild the factory when we get these growth potions up and running. Because this will be taking over from advanced fertilizer pretty much everywhere. There's a couple of camomiles is going to be easier than doing all the mushroom setup. But we will still need some mushrooms to go into gloom spores. So all the mushrooms, instead of going into advanced fertilizer, will all go into gloom spore machines to up that contract amount. But that should work. Just need to block up the machines. I think it's in a good place, and let's bring you out like that. This is for the chamomile powder. We might need to process something over there with that. So we've currently got the brine and the chamomile powder set up. It's just a clay powder. So it's not actually that hard to do this. And I can definitely scale this up. I would have to scale this up if I want to do it on the next floor to 6 times the amount everywhere and have it balanced, because I would want, because if you have a look at the fertilizer, maximum fertilizer is 2,100, but the nutrition value is 9,700. You look at advanced fertilizer, it's only 1,000. It's nearly 10 times better. This is just like the advanced was about 12 times better than the basic. And if we can run a full belt of growth potions going everywhere, everything's going to be running a lot better. So the chamomile, I'm pretty certain if we get growth potions in the chamomile, that's going to be running at the full speed of the belt at 60 a minute as well. Yeah, clay powder is 4 times the amount of this here. So that was 2 lines of charcoal, wasn't it? We'll probably just have a wood setup over there, just so I don't have to... How is the mushrooms doing on this side? We had a couple of boxes of mushrooms over here. Here. So we could actually have more mushrooms on this side. Because this belt is nowhere near full. Because why? Where's all the mushrooms going to? I think it might be something to do with this build. This is all stopping. Small gears is still the problem. Could thread the small gear into a second slot as well. Because that is one of the issues, because it needs 180 and we're only giving it 60. Could bypass the priority splitter. So half it's going into the splitter. And the other half can just go straight into 2 lines. Might help it out a bit better than it currently is. The thing is, I need this wood to keep moving, otherwise it doesn't do the mushrooms. So this is the line that's causing issues here. And that's just a line going into here with just wood. You're moving good, you're not. What are you going into? You're going into fully production, but that's all stopped. I could feed off... how could I do this? I could have a box here, so both these lines go into a box and then it comes out even amounts. Just so it doesn't stall. And then I could do the same on this side as well. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. So break all the... Just need 1 box. Because boxes can be very good at controlling the speed of what's happening. So if we put 2 boxes right here and right here, the lines are still threading to where they need to, but if the lines are full, then it will just go into the back, and then it could also go into the second line. So all 4 of these lines should continuously run unless there's nothing in the box at all. So I could just chuck a little bit of the wood I've got on me into each box just to have a little bit of filter. Well, the lines are running a bit better except for this one, but that box is catching where this is stopping. Could put another set of gears on here. Could also say, instead of all them going into there, because it's going into here to go into the shop, then it's filtering back down here. So we could say these 2 are allowed to go straight onto the belt. Maybe put an extra machine on the end here. Because we've got it going 2 ways here, so that's fine. I think that's a better fix than what it was. So I've got about 200 in there. So it is going up slightly. So the wood is backing up. It should allow the mushrooms to run a bit clearer. I think I want to turn this on. So give me a second just to go and set it all up and block everything up I don't want to be purchasing. Okay, not a bad day. Another diamond sold on this day. So that was nice to see. 826,000 with the quest. And the spending is going to go up because I've just set up the rock salts at its second location now. What is it going to be? 537,000. Still a good distance between them, so that's fine. But yeah, we've got the brine coming out now. So that part's done. We've got the chamomile powder, which is over here. So that's 2 parts of it already, and we would only need clay powder. So I'm thinking this machine probably should be somewhere around here. Now it's going to have a feed in from this, and then it also needs a feed in from the left and right. So I'm thinking maybe something here would be good. I've got to get them fed into the top here. So let's try and work that out. And of course my bar's changed. That's the one I want. So I'm thinking just feed all them 4 like that. Bring it from the machine there. Something like that. And then try and go up, matching this. I hate it when it does that little shape at the top like that. Not what I want. There you are. That's not bad piping. Then we want the chamomile powder to come from here. We could just thread it under there. Not joined anything, and it's going straight in the machine, and then all we need is the clay powder on the other side. Okay, that's coming in now. So we're 1 stage away from it. That means you can go. And we needed 60 clay to match all these numbers. So I think we'll start with the sand lines. Now the sand lines will have to have the other build with the grinders underneath. Okay, I am out of portals. Let me go and grab some of those. And let's go and check the quest for the day. Random quest is a Mars. We'll have a check on that. We do have 2 days to send it in. 414,000 would be worth it if we can get it done. I know the Mars is getting close to completing the first one. I don't know if it's quite there yet. Not quite there. So now the nails are fixed. The still gears is now the problem to slow it down. Now, how is the still gears looking? Because we have the 2 machines here. And then the still gears go up here. We could easily put a 3rd machine on. Because we can see there's plenty of steel. It's the machines. Let me just make a little slight adjustment to this. So if we take you out... Probably going to need to reorganise a lot of this corner. We'll try not to disturb the nails if possible. And the gears need to come to here. Just copy you over there just so you have the stuff I want set on. If we put you there... We can figure out a way. I mean, which one are you going to? Sorry. Stuck on everything again. Well, you're still gears. I can easily figure out where that goes upstairs. We could take it up one more. We could even bring it round the front here to connect. That might be the easier solution. The cannons do swing all the way around. So the still gears would be the very edge one. So I could easily thread that up there. That's no issues at all. We would need the splitter thing on here. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. Could bring it up here. Think I might need to move the nails. We could put the splitter here. Still need the priority to go into the shop, so the bottom one would have to swing back up on top of itself. Is there any better way I can have doing these? Could also put... Not these ones, it's the other ones that go over it. It's these ones here. Could bring the stuff on top like that. That means the cannon was probably right to start with the direction like that. Just try and think of something different. Instead of bringing the line out this side, bring it up here, and then I've got plenty of room to do the filter stuff. And then all I've got to do is bring it down at this point here. And as I said before in this, you will constantly be changing your builds all the time to maximise your efficiency. So yeah, I'm going to remove this. We'll have the belts coming out like that. I'll bring you up on top here. Which is that version. That brings me up onto the top shelf. The top shelf could then have the priority splitter here. That part can just go forward into that. And then all I've got to do is loop the top back round onto here and then bring it down here. So let's get some stands, a smaller variety I want. Like that. One here. Bring you up to the edge. And the longer you play this, the better you are at sort of fixing these problems or making things more efficient. So yeah, bring that up to there. So now we're making more steel gears. This will go into the shop. I just need to get you set up in the end one again. And anything that doesn't go into the shop then comes back down to feeding like it was before, and everything else is the same. So then the next thing is what's the next slowdown? Once I fix this, it's probably going to be copper and brass if I had to hazard a guess, or bronze. But we did put some boxes down deliberately, just so we had a bit of filter in case that was ever the problem. So I think the next problem would be the copper bearings. Going down to 40, yeah. So that'll be the next problem, that's fine. We're running everything else as efficient as we can. Not enough raw materials. So yeah, it must be still doing the shop at the moment. If we go and have a look upstairs. How is the steel gears looking up here? Yeah, it's nearly full, so that's fine. We'll just fill that box up. We've still got 70 on us to use. And then that should mean the stuff will then start filtering this side. Once this belt fills up here. Yeah, it's starting to fill up now. So that's fine. We might get that Mars for the quest. We can easily pick the malachite from upstairs, so that's fine. And let's come back to the builder who's doing. So we've got the pipes in, we've got that in. We just need the clay in, which means we needed the stone stack with the advanced grinders underneath. And I have showed this off many times in the route, in the playthrough. Money comes in at the back. Okay, I've still got that wrong on the left hand side. That should be going in, not coming out. So I've got to fix that one. So let's put it over here to fix it. So this one here, it's going the wrong way. I need to change the blueprint. I keep forgetting. So it has to come in on the belt from this side. And then that one comes up to this here. So the money comes in here. Goes into the stone. The stone then comes down either side and drops down below into two grinders here on either side. The grinders then come around the back and then it comes back through the center chamber, which is here, and then it connects onto the belt, so then you get a sand belt. Nice, easy, simple setup. Nothing's saved on there. And how many do I need of this? It was 4 lines, wasn't it? 4 lines, and then we'd also need, because this is only going to be 40 sand coming out here. So we could do 3 lines and then a couple of sand on top. That's what the plan was going to be. 1 sand should be the 20, that's fine. So the 40 here with the 20 on the top. So I only need 1 of these. So you don't need to come down at this point here. So we'll get rid of you. But none of this top part here is going to get used. You're not going to get used. And that also means that back portal can go as well. There's no money on that belt, so I know it's not being used. That's perfect. And then on this one, we can just set it up like I did before with my other build. So we move that out the way. We need the 2 grinders underneath. Which are you. I have to have them coming back on the shelf like this. There and there. And then because you can't do anything in the middle unless you can't put this on top, you have to have a set of stands. But before you do that, I would advise you to get your belting in. This has to go up one. We'll do that later. So yeah, the belting comes down into the center, and same from this, goes into the center. Then we can cover it. Smaller variety into 3. And then that sand. Probably, yeah, we can probably come onto that line, but I think I'm going to have to delete that because it has to be on the sand belt. So we'll just do that for the moment. This would then go on top. We would then need my stands. Where are my stands gone? Number 5. We need to cover that, and then we would need a little block here to put the portal up. So this has to go one higher than it currently is. So let's just grab a little bit of stone. Grab a portal. And it can go here, straight onto the machine, that's fine. I do prefer no space between these. And then you just have to come down into these. So, goes into the bottom. Into the centre. Same again, I can see blue. Just need to rotate this round. Get the bottom set first. Is that 1, 2 forward? No, that works. Been a little while since I built this. And then we just need the belt coming out of the centre into both of these, which drops it down into the grinders, brings it back round. And then all we need to do is connect the money belt straight up onto this top platform. We'll take it off the belt here. And then we want it to go onto the little shelf I've got. Which is there. We should see money starting to come up. Yep, that's so I know it's connected correctly. Don't need this here anymore. And then you just come into here. So that's going to be my 20 sand. Just make sure I'm blocking everything up. So 20 sand from there, 40 sand from the build. That gives me 1 full line. That gives me 2 full lines, and then I need another 2 of those across down here for the rest of the sand to make the clay. Yep, we're nearly done with this, and I can set you up to start buying limestones. And blocking it up just saves it from spending too much, and we just need to get you, which is going to be sand, onto the sand belt, which is here. So, easiest way would be from this point here. So, that means I don't need you. And I don't need you. Let's bring it down here. This is now going to be a full 60 belt at the bottom. So, it can all combine onto the same belt. And let's just swing you around to join. Perfect. So, this is now a 60 sand belt. And I've got no left over here, so I don't have to worry about pushing it into any sort of build. I am keeping an eye on the time. It is nearly 2 o'clock. Okay, we're not quite finished, but 98%. A little bit more gears. So gears is still the problem. But we can easily fix that by adding a 4th machine if we desperately want to. Which I'm not against. We have enough room on the top here to get a machine and just thread this slightly different. We could also extend it here and put another machine here. We might look at doing that eventually. But what I just need to make sure is that steel... Okay, steel's not backing up anymore, so that's good. That's currently not being connected to anything. It's just holding my steel. So yeah, it looks like the problem now is the steel, but we can easily add another steel onto here and keep expanding like we did recently. But no, that's running smooth on the belt, so I'm happy with that. Don't need to do any more adjustments. We'll get that Mars for the next day, and then I can turn that quest in. Why is this stopped? Because the sand's not being cleared, so we can't do any salt into here. That's fine. So let's get these up. We want 3 of these across the back. That gets us the 4 lines for the clay. And like I said, I will supersize this, so I want to copy it. And what we need, a lot of large gears and a lot of wood. Just popping over to my Jupiter build. And we've got a good amount of Jupiters just sitting in the box. And because we don't desperately need the money at the moment, I am pushing these into experience. And we still have 3 Jupiters sitting in a box here in case I have a quest for them. So all these Jupiters can go into experience. Gets me some more skill points eventually. How are we looking? We need 533. So each of those will be about 600. It will get me a point and nearly off most of the way to the second point. And we can pop over to this relic build here. And send some of the Jupiters in. I mean, at this point, having all the Jupiters sold is probably the better off one. And the Jupiter, where is it? I think it's the 3rd one across, yeah. So all the Jupiters I've got just put into the box. And we don't need it to go into 2 sides like that. It only needs to go into the 1. Okay, the Mars has finished. We've actually got 2 Marses. I didn't realise one had finished. Oh, that's just fabulous. I was thinking that that was still the first Mars. We'll keep some in as a spare in here, just for quests. How is malachite? Okay, so we haven't got enough malachite by the looks of it. So yeah, selling 21 malachite a day into the shop, so we're barely keeping up. And now the pocket watches are backed up. We're back to sending out contracts again, so that's fantastic. Just having a look where our expenditure is. It's probably going to be on logs, but soon we can stop buying the rotten logs in the quantities we are, because we'll only be buying them for the gloom spores. 701,000 and 490. So still clear ahead. What I'm going to have to do is cut this belt, because I need the malachite. Just making sure what's actually affecting this. Fuel's okay with it. It's in pure copper, which is the issue. But what's the issue over here? So it is keeping up with fuel. It is the soap powder that's causing the issue. And I think this is the same as the other build. It just needs 1 more flax on it. If I can get 1 more flax on here, then both these will be running full. I did forget I had one over this side. So I'm going to have to do that as a priority. We want the output this side. And we need to get this. We could put... We'll bring the belt down here. The machines here. Sorry, I just need to... Actually, I don't even need to bring it down. I could have it up here. Okay, I've got an idea. Probably not a good idea, but it's an idea. So let's go with the stands, the taller version. Because technically all we need is this to do it up here. It doesn't need to bring it down. Because this is just doing black soil. If I put you there and put you there, just chuck some fertilizer because I've got so much of it on me at the moment. And then all I've got to do is belt this down and put it onto this pipe in here. And then we'll grab you. I want to bring... No. I want you to come down. Somewhere about there. Then I can go down and fix it. Yeah. Can't believe I didn't fix this before now. Connect them two pipes up. And now both these machines should be running at full pelt now. Because what we was doing was only creating 600. And each one of these needed, sorry, 6,000. Because we had two flax setups. This needs 4,000 each. Now I've got that on there, we're up to 9,000. Yeah, all the outputs on these I didn't need to do all I did here. All I needed to do is have a stand like this with two machines on the side. And I could have got it really nice and tight and looking a lot better than it is. But that's definitely picked up on the soap. What's this box for here? Ah, that was to put the iron in. I think all the iron's gone through now so it can go. I might keep that there just for future use in case I get a load of iron again. But that should pick up the copper, pick up the impure, which will pick up the malachite. There would be another quest, so let's go and have a look what the other quest is. Urgent for copper bearings. That one's going to be easy, 144,000. Let me go and grab some bearings. Okay, let's turn that urgent quest in so I don't forget about it, because you only have the one day to do these quests. And how long do I have on the other random one? I still have a day to get 414,000. We're just 8 malachite short. We'll get that throughout the day. Same as usual, dumping my money I don't need in here. Still got all that gold I'm carrying on me. I could just push that into the belt if I really want to. But at the moment, if we have a look around at the belts, we are spending a lot more money on the belts. I'm not as full as the once was. But there is still a good amount of money on the belt. I think I'll put all the silver I've got. Have I got any? I've got 400 silver on me. We'll just keep the gold on us. And if I need any silver, I can just grab it off the belt. You don't need to be here because we finished with your build a long time ago. I know we're doing on crude shards, so 130 crude shards. Won't take long to turn that into a diamond if I put a build over there. So we've done everything we needed to on here, didn't we? Yeah, we got the 3 sand. That was a full line. Let's get 3 of these built. So copy the first 2. And then the third one, I'll use that build that's out in the middle. And this build, we need to make sure we're setting up as we're going along. So I can see the bottom are all blue down there. The money should start coming up there. Is it coming up here? Yeah, it's coming up here. And the center one, I did see it connect, so I know that's all good. Okay, that one's all set up, so we should start seeing sand coming out of this. Get that belting done. Connects onto the middle. So we'll all see sand out of all 3 of these. We'll see the lift start moving soon. Let's get the next building. Okay. I've got enough malachite now for that quest. Keep all the silver on the bottom. So we are starting to get a bit of a backlog up on the end now. Just because of the amount of stuff on the belt. But we will start using it soon. So let's go back over to this build here. Need to tidy up the top eventually. But we've got 3 lines there, the 4th line here. So we need them into these machines now, and then we just need charcoal powder. Okay, unfortunately I've got all this here, otherwise this would have been a perfect spot for doing it. Because I want to bring the mushrooms back over to here. But just do it in front of the chamomile. And then connect it up to the belt just by normal belting. But yeah, we need the stack I did a long time ago. Rotten logs into mushroom. This is for 10. I only need 3. But I will need more rope. Select it from that corner. We've got all the filters down with this one already. So I think I want to go up to the first box. And copy you. And I do actually have everything to build that, which I was surprised about. We'll put it just here. So I can take off anything I don't need. That's better. All the mushrooms coming onto here. Mushrooms at the top coming down onto the back. Yeah, that wasn't part of the build. That's what was confusing me. So mushroom line here, wood line here. Now this one is doing way more wood than this needs. So I'm thinking I need to cut it back. Now it's 24.48. I think I need to take the top 2 off and then I'll be fine. So anything at the top needs to cut back. Oh, another day ending. I am going to stick with this build because I want these growth potions to be finished in this one. And then in the next one, we are going to be building the next floor. And I think I want to supersize this up. I want a full belt on the next floor doing 60 a minute growth potions. But most of the builds here are quite easy. Sand's easy to replicate. Exactly enough salt for the build is easy to replicate. It's just going to take up a lot of space. But we could do some inventive belting probably. Selling a good amount of those relics. We probably need to start selling the Saturns as well. Because even without selling the Mars or the... Is it the Saturn or the Jupiter? I can never remember. The yellow ones. Without selling those, we're still making enough money. But just look at that money there. 1,000, about 1.3 million copper. And we're in about 479. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Your belt's coming along, so that stuff doesn't need to be here, and that stuff doesn't need to be here. So that part's tidied up across the back. You don't need to be there because it only needs to go into this machine. You come up, cross here, up here, into there. Plugs into the bottom, that's fine. I think I've streamlined it. This is the one we did in the last episode, so should be fairly easy to explain. Not certain what you're there for. I don't think you're part of this build anymore because I've just trimmed a lot of stuff away. So wood's all coming into this box here. There is going to be 3 machines. So this box is going to be 72 a minute. I'm only going to be using 60 for the charcoal. Now, this charcoal build will have to take the fuel off the line here. So that does mean I'm going to need to connect you up to this with the fuel. Because it can't take anything off this build because these clay need 60 a minute charcoal. So I can't afford to use any of it. Let's go around the back and get that belt fixed. So my charcoal is currently here. Or my coal powder, is it? Coke powder. So we're going to be using that off the line to feed the charcoal machines. So that's the line coming up here, and we'll have to have the charcoal this side. So this is going to be buying... I think it's too big for this space now. This only needs to buy stuff, so it can easily come here and get catapulted over, which I think is the better option. I'm for now going to have to move this window, just so I can get it in the right place. Did have a new day, so we might have a new quest, so I need to go and check on that at some point. Keep one space there, that's fine. And we want this money belt to connect here. Okay, I've blocked up all the slots. Okay, money belt is looking a bit weak down here, but there is money coming along. Like I say, if I need to, I will chuck the gold on there. So this is going to be mushrooms we'll end up having to chuck all the way. But it can only chuck 2.5 tiles, which is about up to here. And the mushrooms, unfortunately, it's all the way down the back there. So we would have to do 2 cannons, one somewhere around here. But I want to get the charcoal building before I do any of that. So mushrooms comes out here, wood in here. This is what's going into charcoal. Did have a charcoal build I could copy. Well, we did create this one, which is fairly efficient. Wood coming out on this side, coming up. We just need to belt things slightly different. But we can take it for the basic canvas of what I need to be doing. Let's copy that one. Do some slight alterations with the belt. But the charcoal build isn't too big. And then these belts all need to go into the clay machines with this. So for now, I'm just going to put it in this space here. So yeah, I'm just working out. So the wood comes in. This is the output, so the wood would have to come in on this side. That would have to go, because that's how it feeds in the machine. And I think we can get rid of that belt as well. So this was the wood. Wood was coming in from here. That's where the wood's coming from currently. Comes up, goes into the machines, comes down, goes underneath, and then we need this belt connecting up. But this could come in straight away, so we just need to get wood up to there. And being as though wood is here, I've just got the box because we will have to start taking wood out this box. We only need one line in like that. And this can just be cut over there. The wood has to come in from this side here. So it's better off having something like that. Leave a bit of space, because I need to get the fuel into the furnaces as well. Would it be good to have... the fuels are here. So it would be better to have this the opposite way like that. Yeah, that's giving me enough room to get the 3 belts out as well. That's perfect. So this just comes into these machines. And then it has to go up. And because it's only a couple of crucibles plus that, it's only going to be using 9p's a second. So you can just come across the front. Now I've just got to get them 2 lifts back in. Swing the top round until it's blue, and then copy you into that space. So fuel's already sorted. We just need to get this wood belt. We're going to probably bring it up here. So I'm just going to delete these belts and go in the opposite way to what I want now. Take it off the belt, bring it up to this point here. And then just go into all 4 machines. Which is perfect. That will come down and then we have a belt out the bottom here. And this is going to be charcoal powder. So if we get you out here, you can go into the first machine somewhere around here. We could get 2 machines here, 2 machines here. And then have the feed out the centre of them. Which I think is what I'm going to do. So yeah, let's get you in. Need at least 2 spaces between the machines and this. So I think that'll be great. We could bring charcoal up on the next tier. Or we can bring sand up. It doesn't really matter. You're coming out. I think I want you to come out the other side. So have the 2 outputs together like that. And then we'll do the same on this side. You can go there. Because this is coming out as a 60 belt. So it can all combine. To there. So that is going to be the clay. And then we'll have to turn it into powder after that. So how am I going to do the belts? I think the sand belt is going to be easier just to do that. And then the first sand going into the machine there. And then bringing the charcoal down here is probably the easiest way to deal with this. Into the machine. And then we'll have them 2 like that. A couple of belts down the side. Up to there. And then we've got to lift this. Or we could lift it up on the corner. Get the belt in first. You go into the 2 machines there, and then we'll lift it up here. So that's 2 of the machines dealt with. And then we can just repeat it on this side. You can go into there. You can go into there. So that's the 4 sand lines dealt with. I'm already set up to do the clay. And you can see I'm turning so I know it's working. And then we've also got to get this into these over here. So in this case, just bringing you straight away up to there. No, I don't want you in that space. And then up to like that. So this line will be split 50-50 into both machines. So I've lost my keys. Up to there. Across the back. Should just be the same version as these. Yep. There. And there. So we'll bring out the clay one more just so we can see it. And that is the last part of this. We just need to turn it into powder. And if I remember from my numbers, 2... I think 2 advance will do it. This should be 30 a minute. Yep, 30 a minute. That's perfect. 2 advance can go in like that. And then this just needs to get plugged into the machine. There's nothing underneath them belts there, so that actually can go underneath like that. And then we just plug you into the machine there. Put a small box on the front just for now. So there's the clay powder coming in. We've already got the furnaces off the belt, but it's not taking much fuel at all. And then we should start seeing growth potions being made. which is fantastic to finally get to that point. And once we get 100 of these, which will be the next episode now, we will move up to tier 7. But there is still a couple of more builds we can do in this tier. Let's just have a look what's in the next one. We've got a Paradox Crucibles. We haven't touched the Crucibles, but I think this playthrough I don't want to do much with Crucibles. I want to save that for the achievement run I plan to do in the future. So we could do Black Powder. That is going to be a better fuel source. But it's not as cost effective as doing Charcoal Powder or the Coke Powder. That is the most efficient for money wise until you go really up into the big tiers. But yeah, we've got tier 7, tier 8 and tier 9, and then tier 10 is literally you're a master and you complete the game. So we haven't done Unstable Catalyst, but I think I'll leave them two until we find a build that actually needs them. So what have we got in the next tier? We've got Advanced Shapers. Thermal Extractors, I don't think I'll do much with them. It's one of these where you just need to keep building stuff on top of each other, and the higher up they are, the better inputs they do. We get access to the Alembic and the Paradox Crucible, so we get 4 new machines in this tier. And then what do we go into? We go into Sulfuric Acid, which we haven't messed with sulfur yet because we haven't needed to. The second one is a brine, and then that goes into an Alembic. We could do brandy, which we've got a good red current build at the moment. We've got a lot of excess on that, so that's not going to be too much. And it looks like Coke powder as well. So brandy looks fairly easy to do. Lavender oil is going to be another plant. Can't quite make out what that oil is. It could be flax. Then we've got the perfume bandages we need for one of the upgrades in the workbench. We've got a fertile catalyst, which is going to be an even better build than these. So the growth potions is 9,700 nutrition value. This is 36,000. So again, about 4 times better. It does require the Paradox Crucibles to do the essence, which is the second one across. Last potions is probably not that hard to get to. Again, you would need another essence, so you would have to use a Paradox Crucible most likely to get those. I think you can do them through cauldrons as well, fairly easy, and that would need the brandy. What have we got down here? We've got Topaz, which if that uses crude shards, we have got a lot of crude shards coming off the Malachite build. So that's probably one of the easiest ones to do in this tier. And then we get our next relic, which is going to be a lot of potions, but we've got a lot of potions just sitting in containers doing nothing. We would need to add the blast potion to it. By the looks of that one there at the bottom, we need 200 blast potions. But we're doing healing potions, we're doing vitality, we're doing transformation potions. We're now going to be setting up for the growth potion, so we'll probably have to have 2 builds of that to do this. And 10 gold. Yeah, we've got some interesting things coming up. I think I'm going to ignore black powder and unstable catalyst until we come across a recipe that needs it, which I think you need unstable catalyst. But yeah, the next tier shouldn't be anywhere near as big as this, because just look at all the things we had to unlock in here. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it there with this one. Just have a quick look at the quests, make sure we did the quest for the day. It's an urgent request for growth potions. So those growth potions we're doing will be going into this before we do it into the main quest. So I need 190 to do both those before we can move up to tier 7. And currently we're up to 11. So we're not really getting the numbers we need on this. Apparently clay powder. Something's going wrong. Why is everything stopped here? You're still going. Ah. Just for now, I need a box here, because if the mushrooms stop, it stops putting wood in. If the wood stops, it stops making clay. So yeah, we'll just put them mushrooms into a box, just as a buffer, and then we'll have them sent. We are going to have a cannon here and a cannon over there to gate over. But I'll deal with that in the next episode. Just need to give my voice a bit of a rest on this one. But hopefully you're still enjoying the series, and I'll see you all again in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.